Today we're going to do an unhaul. I have a ton of books here that I really need to get rid of. I tend to sell all of my books to Ziffit if they will take them and make a little bit of money back on them. Not much, but a little bit. So I really need to get these books packed up in a box and then I need to get Ziffit to collect them ASAP. I don't know if it's going to happen before I go away because I'm recording this video a little bit later than planned, but maybe they'll come at the weekend or something if I get a move on. I'm not sure how many I have here. It looks like about 40 books that I'm going to unhaul. Most of these I have already read. In fact, there are some behind me that I just need to grab. For the most part, I don't typically unhaul books that I haven't read because I like having them on my TBR. Every so often I'll go through and try a chapter, and if the book isn't really calling to me, then I will decide to unhaul them without reading the entire thing. But most of these are books that I have already read. Okay, so starting off, I will be unhauling the entire Unwind Dystology, I think it's called. I haven't actually read the fourth book yet, so that's still behind me on my TBR, but I know that I won't be keeping this series, unfortunately. I read Unwind ages ago, and then I reread it and still loved it, and same for the second book in the series, Unholy. But then by the time I got to Unsold, this book was awful. I didn't like it the first time I read it and forgot all about it, and I didn't like it the second time, and I've again forgotten all about it, so I'm just going to power through the fourth book at some point next year, complete the series once and for all. But I don't feel the need to keep these ones on my shelf any longer, and since I'm doing a Ziffit order, I might as well just give them away because I don't want them on my shelf. I'm really disappointed that this third one just really let the entire series down. I could keep these two books, the first two, because I do enjoy them, and I am considering keeping Unwind because this has a few really memorable scenes, but it feels a bit weird just to keep the first book in a series. I don't know. I'm not really sure what the logic there is. Another one I'm unhauling is The Tyranny of Faith. This is the second book in this trilogy, and I DNF'd this actually. I didn't enjoy this at all. I started listening to it, I think I got about 150 pages in or so, and the story just wasn't captivating me, and I've decided that I don't really want to carry on with the series. I gave it a good go, and I did enjoy the first book a lot, but this one was just boring and it's longer than the first book. I just don't really feel the need to invest the time into this trilogy anymore. I'm unhauling Senlin Ascends, which I DNF'd this year. This is a fantasy series, the first of like 5 books in this series, and unfortunately I didn't like this one, so that's going in the box as well. I'm unhauling When I Was 10. This is a thriller book that I think I gave like 3 stars, maybe 2.5. I don't remember loads about this book. It was just kind of like middling, and on my shelves I typically only keep books that are 4 stars or above. Sometimes a 3 if it's like my favourite author or something. They've kind of let me down with that one book because I want the whole collection, but a 3-star read can just go in the box. I'm going to be getting rid of this really lovely edition of City of Nightmares. This is, I think, a Fairy Loot edition, and it is stunning, but I didn't like this book. I gave it 2.5 stars, I think. It was really weird, didn't get on with the writing style, and it's a shame to have to get rid of it, but it just can't stay on my shelf because I don't have the space. I'm unhauling another thriller, which is Hostage. This one I gave 3.5 stars, I think. It was interesting. It's about a plane hijacking, and I did enjoy it, but I'm not going to reread it, and I don't really keep thrillers on my shelf if I'm not going to reread them. I think Ruth Ware and Gillian Flynn are 2 of the very few authors I do keep on my shelf because I think their books have rereadability. Hostage, however, I don't think I'll reread it. I have a sci-fi book here called Star Splitter. This was another 3-star read that I don't really feel the need to keep. I enjoyed it at the time, I really did, but it felt like it was lacking something for me, and again, won't reread it, so it's going in the pile. I'm unhauling The Wolf of Oren Yarrow. This was in my worst books of the year video. I only gave it 2 stars. I didn't enjoy it. It was really disappointing. I thought I would love it, but I didn't, so it's going away. Another book that was on my worst books of the year video was Powerless. I hated this book. I gave it 2 stars at the time. I probably should have given it 1. It was very derivative of other works like Red Queen. It wasn't unique at all. The writing was quite terrible, and I didn't like the love triangle or the love interest, if there is only one. It's a bit up in the air at the moment, and the sequel sounds rubbish, so I'm not going to read it, so I'm getting rid of this. There are a few old school YA books here that I'm going to get rid of just because I'm not going to reread them again. So the first one is Unearthly, and I was kind of thinking about rereading this, but I reread Pivot Point a few months ago, or maybe a year ago, and that was a bad experience, so I don't really want to reread this one, but at the same time, it's really shiny and I'm kind of feeling it. I just don't think I will love this if I reread it again. It's such a pretty edition though. I really miss these shiny YA covers. I think they should bring these back. There's also Beautiful Dead. I think I read a chapter of this one and then gave up on it because it just wasn't captivating me. I can't even remember what it's about, like Fallen Angels or something. And there's also More Than This by Patrick Ness. This is my least favourite of his books. I don't remember loads about it, and I think I really enjoyed it at the time, but I'm definitely not going to reread it. I've also got The Mirror Empire and The Goblin Empire, both both of which I DNF'd. I spoke about them in my DNFs video. The writing for the Goblin Emperor, sorry, I think I said Empire just now. This one, the writing was really weird and I couldn't get into it, and then the Mirror Empire was just really boring, so unfortunately I'm going to unhaul it. I'm also going to be unhauling Last Seen Online. I bought this during our anniversary trip in the Peak District, so I kind of wanted to keep hold of it for that, but I did only give it, I think, 3.5 stars, or maybe 4, but now, like, having settled on it, it's more of a 3.5, I think. It's not one that I will reread, and it's a thriller book, so it's going in the pile. Another 3-star thriller book was Killers of a Certain Age. I didn't get on with this one at all. It really dragged. I feel like this could have been a short story, actually. The beginning was really interesting, but the rest was so boring. Catching Jordan. This one is an old school YA book that I reread recently and still really enjoyed, but I'm not going to collect the rest of the series. I think I'm going to get them as ebooks. So I've got no need to keep this on my shelf now that I've recapped it and, well, reread it and then recapped it. That's the only reason I had it in the first place, I think. Bad Things Happen Here. This is a YA thriller. I really didn't like this one. I gave it 2 stars. It just wasn't enjoyable at all. Definitely won't be rereading it. I'm unfortunately getting rid of Nevermore, the first book. I liked this at first, but I feel like it was a little bit too long for me and I ended up not enjoying it so much towards the end. So I won't be carrying on with the series, and I think it's taking ages for the series to come out as well. So that's never good. So I'm just gonna have to give up on this one and get rid of the book. I've got some random books here. I think they ended up here from work because there's a book donation pile at work. So just really quickly, I've got Michael Crawford's biography, it looks like, weird. Alan Partridge's biography as well. I've got this random little book called Uncanny, which looks like a kid's book. What else do I have here from work? I've got The Love Song of Miss Queenie Hennessy. Never heard of this one, no idea what it's about. I think this was a work donation as well. The reason I have these, by the way, is because I was the one who set up the donation pile or shelf, so every so often I go in and take books out and put other books back depending on how long they've been sat there. I've got a German book called Schweine Tango. No idea, honestly. I work for a translation company, so you get all sorts in this shelf. I have The One by John Mars. This is another thriller book that I won't be rereading. I did enjoy this book though. It's about a serial killer and you get into his point of view. It's like a sci-fi sort of thriller. I did like it, but it's not one that I'm going to reread. I would really like to try more books by him in this sort of like sci-fi universe thing that I think he's creating. But I don't really feel the need to have this one on my shelf. I would like to watch the Netflix drama though. Apparently it's a film or a TV show. I didn't realise that, so I'd like to give that a go because I did enjoy the book. I've got The Blonde Dies First. This one I think I DNF'd. I don't really remember, so that's going in the pile. The Girl Who Could Move Shit With Her Mind. This is a urban fantasy paranormal kind of book about a girl with magical powers. It was very action-packed, but I didn't really enjoy it, so that's going. A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. This is an alright book, actually. I gave it 3 stars. It was a fun witchy romance read. Not one that I'm going to reread, and I'm not going to carry on with the series, I don't think. I know someone in the comments did say that they really enjoyed the sequel, but I just don't know if it's for me. Rebel of the Sands. This is purely because I have another edition of this, or another copy. This one is signed. It's very old though, so it's yellowing really quite badly, so I don't think anyone would actually want this. Alwyn signed it for me at one of her events, I think when she released the 3rd book, and I think I was going to do a giveaway at the time, and this is one that I bought myself. I was going to do a giveaway, but I never got around to it. I think I went on my Booktube break shortly after. I'm getting rid of that because it's a duplicate copy. Gone by Michael Grant. I'm just never going to reread this. I read the first 2 books in this series and I did have a good time with them, but I just can't see myself carrying on with the series. Probably. I don't need to reread it in any case because I have a recap of it. Raiders of the Lost Heart. This is a romance adventure sort of thing, and I did enjoy it, but again, won't reread it. I'm really picky with my romances and they have to like really make me cry and get me emotional to make me want to keep them, and this one is just a 3-star read. It was fun, but I won't be keeping it. Another one that I got from work is All You Need Is Love. No idea what this is about, so it's not one of my books, so can just go. Insignia is an old school YA book. It's a sci-fi thriller. I DNF'd this about 100 pages in, unfortunately. I think I left it way too long to read this, so that's a shame. I've also got Blue Lily, Lily Blue. I don't know where the rest of the books in this series are, and I don't think I've still got them. I'm not sure. I haven't actually finished off this series yet, but Maggie Stiefvater has recapped the first 3 books for my website, not to brag or anything. So if I do want to finish off the series and read the final book, I can just read those recaps. I don't need to reread this or keep it so that I can reread it. I have this random edition of The Last Templar, and I don't know if this is like an art copy or something because it doesn't have a barcode on the back and it says not for resale, so I have no idea where this book came from or why I have it. It says it's published by Orbit, but there's no barcode, so I'm really confused. I just don't think I'm ever going to read this one, so realistically I need to get rid of it. Oh, here I have The Justice of Kings, which is the first book in this trilogy that I've given up on. I've already told you about this, so that's going. I have Lies by Michael Grant, which I think is like the 5th book in this series or something. I don't think I've read this one. And then I have The End of the World Running Club, which I DNF'd, I think, again, about 100 pages in or so, if that. Don't remember much about it, but I didn't enjoy it. And then spoilers for my wrap-up, if I actually do a wrap-up this month, I don't know. I have Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. I enjoyed it, but I won't be rereading. And I have Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. I really enjoyed this. I need to recap it before I get rid of it, so I might reconsider if I do a quick reread and then end up really enjoying it upon the reread when I recap it. But at the moment, it's going on the pile. I might change my mind about this one though. I think that's it. I do need to go through my shelves, I think, my red shelf, and just make sure there's nothing else there that I would like to get rid of while I'm putting things in the boxes. But these books should fill up the 2 boxes that I have, so realistically I probably don't need to add any more to it. I'll just create another pile in the guest room if I need to, and then Ziffit can come back and pick up some more books later. Thank you for watching. This is my unhaul for the year. I really enjoy having a good clear out, so that's what this is. I don't really post many unhaul videos because I just don't really feel the need to, but let me know if you think I should. I can post one every so often, I suppose, when I'm getting rid of books, because as I said, I only really keep books that I have really enjoyed or by authors that I have really loved, so I do end up unhauling a lot of books, and that's why my red bookshelf is so much smaller than my TBR bookshelf, because very few books make it to my red one. I don't think I've posted my bookshelf tour by the time you're watching this video. That's coming in a few days time, so stick around for that, because then you'll be able to see just how picky I am with my red authors or books and which ones I end up keeping, and you'll be able to see like the scale of my TBR versus my red shelf. Tell me in the comments how often you unhaul books. Do you keep every single book that you read, or do you only keep like the best of the best? I would love to know, because everyone is different. I know a lot of people who do want a big collection of books that they've loved and hated because they like looking at every single book that they've read, but I just don't have the space for that, and then also I don't really want like the reminders of these boring books because that just seems pointless to me. Someone else can enjoy them hopefully, but that someone is not me. So thanks for watching this bookmas video. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you all in the next one. Bye. Also, as I'm making this thumbnail, I was actually thinking maybe I should record me packing up these books for my unhauls. Maybe that's a good idea. I'm just telling you this now because I don't want to put the books back down now that I've picked them up, because it's a struggle. Yeah, maybe I could do that at the end of my next unhaul. I can show you how I pack them up and send them off to Ziffit. Seems like a good idea to me.